Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Raptor X here with Good Clean Gaming RX, and today we are back in the ECO Republic server. This is just going to be a quick video today. I don't have a whole lot of time. I've been swamped, honestly, with homework over the past couple days, and things are speeding up with work, requiring a earlier morning start time for work. So I kind of just wanted to go over, I guess, a little bit of a workaround. I was talking with some other Eco players last night who knew, and apparently in 9.4.3, I think it was, the rent function was broken on vehicles. And so that's why we've not been able to use any of the vehicles to actually rent things. Essentially, the object permissions have been broken. I guess we'll go over how to set up a rent, and then I'll kind of show you a workaround. So to actually set up a rent on a vehicle, you can get in here to your Steam truck or whatever vehicle it is, get into storage and get into the authorization tab, and then click on the deed right here. Now under that you have a residency tab, and you can click over here and hit manage rent. Now I've got mine already set up because I was testing this last night and then discovered that it was broken, and so didn't I had to scrap that video anyway. So you can basically set up the currency that you want it to be in, the amount per hour that they're going to pay, and this can be either a fixed value or it can be dependent on, a percentage of a person's wealth or an absolute value. All different kinds of fancy things that one can do. And then you can check whether this is online and offline hours or just online hours. Online and offline encourages them to return the vehicle to you, so they are not in it for the whole 24-hour day or whatever, because that's going to continue to accrue rent. The move-in fee then is just like once you start renting, you pay X amount of dollars or coin or whatever your currency is. And then that basically guarantees that even if a person is just getting in and using it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes or something, not the full hour, you're still going to get something for it. The amount per hour, that rent does get prorated. As I found out yesterday, I ended up paying like 44 cents or something with trying to make the video on top of the $10 move-in fee, because it does prorate it. And then of course you'll just choose the rent account if you happen to have multiple of them. Of course my bank accounts, I've just got my Raptor X one. And then you'll just hit set rent, and that'll basically set up a rent clause. And you want to make sure to set this to max occupants of 1. That way you can't have multiple people sharing the vehicle and make it possible for someone to come along and steal some parts out of it or whatever, some items, blocks, whatever, and that way it's just protected to the one person who is renting it, and of course you'll I believe lose access to it during that time, but as soon as they then leave resident, that vehicle will be returned to you, and hopefully they've brought it back to where they rented it from. Otherwise you have to go hunt for it, and I think you can probably ding their reputation for that kind of thing as well. But okay, so that's the basic setup of how to get something rented. This rent function, of course, is actually broken because you can actually get you can rent something, but you can't actually access it to actually use it. So to get around that, there are a couple of different options. You can basically get into here and get into authorization, and when someone takes rent on a vehicle, you can get into here and change the authorized consumers, and this would be then, you go through and you tell, say I've rented it to Eric Redger over here. I basically just set him up as a citizen so that he can, access this vehicle, and then he can, basically drive around, do all that kind of stuff. I'm not sure if this allows him to pick it up as well. I don't think it does. Because the deed it still belongs to me, but it'll allow them to access the inventory and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. Now, the other way then that I think this could probably be done would be with a contract. You can basically create a contract, and you would be using the receive permissions. And you would then get object rights for contract duration on contract beginning, and you would pick, in this case I'm going to use the steam truck. There we go, Raptor X steam truck, and I'm going to hit select. And of course I'd probably want to remove these contents from this before allowing someone to use it, because they could end up using those. And then there would be a payment on completion, and you could basically just leave this blank because they're going to be paying you rent, but this would essentially be a move out fee, essentially, you could do. I'm just going to leave this at 0, and we would do this in coin, and to the Raptor X to retain from contractor on completion. So this could be used as a move-in fee as well, or a tax, sorry, so that as soon as they complete that, they'll return that to you. This essentially gives them 24 hours to play with it, and this one could essentially give it unlimited. I think if you set this to unlimited, no, it doesn't. Okay, you can't do it less than that. So you basically have to go through and set this up each time, or you can set up multiple repetitions. For instance, if I wanted to be able to have up to 10 times that another player could rent this, and then basically post that like so, and that allows them then to gain permissions on this steam truck for the term of the contract, and then the rent function would allow them then to, or would pay you for the use of that vehicle. Now, this contract basically it doesn't make sure that you're getting a reoccurring payment. So you would have to work with the person and make sure that they're both taking the contract and the reoccurring payment, or else working with them and basically saying, oh, you're renting this, I'll go ahead and pop on and give you access with this authorization here. And so that's kind of a workaround for right now for renting. Hopefully this will be helpful. We are working on getting the next season set up, and as far as I know, we do have the next server running. There's just the different setup and laws and all that kind of stuff that have to be constructed, and then we should be ready to fire that off. So there'll be some work on the Discord, because as of right now the plan is kind of to just do the super skilling laws as a written rule, not necessarily one encoded in the laws, and then as we get time we'll go ahead and bring those into a proper legal law on the system. So it'll just kind of be a written rule that when you join the server, those are kind of the rules. There's a chart that I've uploaded that I've borrowed from the DadSpeed server, as they've kind of done a lot of the work on that, and so we'll just kind of be copying that, possibly with a few little tweaks or whatever, but that's kind of how we're going to be doing that. So I will be making an announcement video and of course a Discord announcement when that server goes live and is available for people to play on. But yeah, that's going to be it for today's video, because I've got to run. So thank you for watching, and I will see you again next time. Take care everyone. Ta-ta.